Hi, welcome to the Leadership with Sonia podcast. Everything leadership, life and learning, plus outstanding interviews with great leaders and humans across the globe. Let's get listening and learning.
Hello everyone, it's Sonia McDonald here and welcome to Leadership with Sonia, where today I am interviewing some extraordinary leaders from around the globe and also finalists in our 2024 Outstanding Leadership Awards. Now, we've got a little bit of a Brady Bunch thing happening here today on this podcast and live, and it's so wonderful to see three finalists from one organisation. So I'd love to introduce you. They are the team from Exigo Tech. And first we have Nitin. Hello, Nitin.
Morning. How are you, Sonia?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm very well. And hello to your listeners.
Thank you. Next, we've got Kalpana. Is that right? That's how you pronounce your beautiful name?
Yes, Sonia. Hi, good morning. And good morning to everyone. I'm pretty nervous, but I'll try my best to give all the answers.
You know what? We have loads of fun. Everyone loves listening and watching Leadership with Sonia lives and podcasts. So we're just going to we're going to talk about everything leadership. I know you've got a big job because I hear the company has grown so rapidly in the last few years. And finally, Vivek, you are the managing director of the organisation. So I was talking to Nitin offline and he said that both of you started the organisation in 2000 was it 2015, 14?
15. Yeah, 1st of September 2015.
15. Wow, you have grown so wonderfully over the past, gosh, that's gone quick, 9 years. And now you're at 140 people.
Yeah, probably growing faster than what we were expecting. But the market and the support what we got from the community was fantastic.
Yes, and I mean, I had a look at your incredible website and what you do this morning, and I saw all the wonderful testimonials. So I can see that your people and leadership are really core of what you do and your growth. So tell me a little bit about, anyone can start. What does leadership mean to you? Why is it important?
See, leadership is part of an ongoing process where you teach yourself from your colleagues. And we also put our valuable insights and make sure that we are enabling, empowering, and transforming people within the organization. Now, this is also our mission for the organization where we commit ourselves. So whoever comes into the organization, Nitin and I have a promise to them that we will make sure that we are enabling them, we are empowering them, and we are transforming them to be a better professional or a better person from what they are right now, in supporting them in whatever endeavors they want to do within the organization or outside the organization. And that has become pretty much a mission. And it's almost like a two-way street because that's what we are expecting them to do for Exigo Tech. We want them to enable, empower, and transform Exigo Tech from wherever it is to the next level. Because once this mutual connection between the employee and the employer or colleagues is in line, we can commit the same thing to our clients who are coming into picture for asking us for help, for technology services, for business services, for consultation services, to say, don't worry about it. We will make technology simple for you. But we are also in the commitment where we are telling them that we are making sure that together we will do exactly the same thing what we have committed, which is enabling, empowering, and transforming.
Oh, I love that. I love that word commitment as well. Like you committed together, like it's working together. Anyone else love to share?
No, that's a pretty good answer. Hard one to respond to after that. Yeah.
Well, because what was the catalyst what made you start this incredible organization? What made you start it, which started with 4 people in 2015, and now look where it is? What made you start this great company?
Nitin, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, look, what made us start this company was our vision. We had a vision, and it's back to what Viv's point was. You know, we always thought that there's something we can do different in the market.
Yeah.
Right. And we're in an industry where there's a lot of partners, there's a lot of good partners out there as well and doing, fantastic job serving customers. But we wanted to find a differentiator for us. And we wanted to see what's out there that no one else is doing that we can do differently to help serve. And like we've said, to enable, to empower, to transform our customers, to grow them differently. So when we started Exigo Tech, our vision was very simple. We knew where we wanted to get to. But at the same time, we also wanted to work with different sort of companies, organizations. And also, like we said, we wanted to grow people and, understand how we can be a disruptor in the market, I'll call it.
Oh, wow. I love that. And culture. So when you think about culture and leadership, how important is culture to you?
Culture is I think so, I can say the ethos of
Yeah.
this organization.
Yeah.
We truly believe together that a strategy itself doesn't work if the people do not have the cultural bonding together. So
Yeah.
people have always been a very centric component to Exigo Tech. I know that a lot of other organizations would have the similar kind of viewpoint on it, but there's no strategy without people. There's no strategy without culture. And it was pivotal to us to build that culture within Exigo Tech. It was a tough year because multinational organization. We started in Australia, then we started adding different countries to it. So we added New Zealand, Singapore, Philippines, India into it, and now we have people all across the world with different cultures, with different viewpoints. So if you do not have the core ethics of how to take care of people, it would be very, very difficult to manage this kind of organizations. Especially Nitin and I always say that we are in the cusp, right? We are not too big like other organizations, but we are not too small as well. And that's where the growing pains of how do you build this company to that next level comes into scenario. So there's a constant push from our HR, which is Kalpana, to make sure that everyone within the organization gets the right support. Culturally, we are taking care of every component. It might be celebration of religious day, right? The Christmas and Eids and Diwalis and things like that, or taking care of people's birthdays and making sure that we are doing team bonding exercises. So culture, I think so, is the most pivotal component of this organization, where we are constantly focusing on it and making sure that people feel safe, people feel enabled, and there's a constant learning from each other regarding that.
I'll just
Wow.
add
So
one thing to
Kalpana,
your point,
oh,
Viv.
sorry, yeah.
Sorry, so I was going to add one more thing to Viv's comment. We also had to relearn culture because during the pandemic and when everyone had to go and, obviously everyone was working from home, we almost reset ourselves, right? And it changed the way people interacted, people, spoke to each other, people worked together. So it's a constant growing thing the last couple of years since we've been back, out with society and, engaging and coming back into the office. But it's a pivotal role that Kalpana has been playing with us in the organization as well. And Kalpana, maybe you want to add some of your points on this as well.
So for me, culture is basically creating a supporting environment where employee feels valued, appreciated. We have tried our best, especially in the pandemic time. I remember Nitin was into yoga and all those things online every day, 9 o'clock in the morning, so that people will start, feeling motivated starting of their day. But it's also setting a positive example. Yeah, I remember because I joined that time.
Sonia, I'll tell you what it was. It's actually a thing in Japanese culture called daiso.
Yes.
So every morning they get up and they, do like exercise. It's a 2-3 minute exercise just to get the body working. So every morning at 8:55, we would have probably almost half the company would dial in, or whoever can dial in. Obviously, people got different things to work on in the morning, and we would do that every morning before we started our day.
So we tried, tested everything in our company, which involved the culture basically. We just want to make sure people will feel included, has a fair chance to play, of course, and understand what company is looking for. And then, of course, we also do the same way what they are looking for. So accommodating them, feeling they're comfortable in this environment. arranging all sort of celebration. We never miss the celebration. We have, I think, extra celebration in our company where we do employee engagement and everything. We also do employee feedback forms and everything, training, mentorship program for them so that they will feel comfortable to talk to us. Also the internal training and development, also one of the part in the company where we encourage a culture like, okay, if you want to do an internal transfer, we are here to give you a mentorship program and upgrade you, and you can transfer to any department if it's good for you. So the company has taken care a lot in terms of culture, and I think that's why we got last year best place to work award as well, employee of the year award from Wasabi, because I think we have done I think 99% what the culture is required in the company, and it's not onshore, it's offshore as well. Like in India, in Philippines is like a baby for us. We started like 1 year back, but the employee engagement is like every month we make sure like there's an employee engagement going on. We are talking to them. They should not feel left behind because it's like offshore team. And yeah, and Vivek and Nitin, they just take care of everything. I just have to take an approval from them and that's it. They're happy to do that.
That's amazing. I can see why you are like one of those best places to work, right? Great place to work. It's because I can see the passion and commitment to your people. I wish that we could just take you and like model you with so many other organizations because I think I can see and I can feel that's contributed to your growth, that care.
Yeah, definitely. It really changed us when, as Nitin was giving an example during COVID. I still remember February 2020. I was planning to go to Barcelona for a mobile conference, and it got canceled. And the main reason they gave us was, oh, there's something called COVID virus, really, really difficult for people to manage and things like that. And I was talking to my business partner, Vishnu Patel, in India, and I said, if this hits India, what will our employees do? Because the density and the people and things like that, remote work was not very much prevalent. Everyone was coming to the office, like Australia or any other country. I said, what will we do? And I said, can you keep an eye on this, some medical insurance for COVID or something like that? And by April, we found one insurance company which was giving COVID insurance in India and things like that. And waiting period was 1 year. And we said, you know what, doesn't matter, just take it. And you won't believe the first phase of COVID in India was really, really bad. But the second phase was the worst, where people did not even had oxygen tanks or medical support or anything like that. The government was doing everything possible to take care of the citizens and things like that. But we as an organization also had a leg ahead compared to a lot of other organizations because we had medical insurances and things like that covered for them already, taking care of their families. We already had stocked a lot of disinfectants and multivitamins and other accessories which were important and not available. So it really changed us as an organization. Of you see in Exegotech, there are a lot of faithful relationships. People have been working with us for a very, very long time. The longevity, the average time a person will work at Exegotech is around 6.5 years. In a lot of long-term friendships, relationships are formed and within the organization. So, and I do think that all these little things what we do, not just to do it, but we really care about it. That's part of our ethos, as I said, really contributes to that. Again, during COVID, the first thing, again, March or April 2020, the first thing we said as a leaders, like Nitin and I, went on to a live broadcast and said, no one will lose a job. Doesn't matter what. And during COVID time, we made sure that we are hiring more people than letting go people. Yes, it was stress to the business, but it was a commitment, what we made. So yeah, so I think so culturally, it is very, very important for us that we take care of the people because these people are the people who are providing the best of themselves to our clients and their experience, what they want to go ahead with.
And I think that's where leadership truly shines in times of crises, because it's very easy to, you still need a license, but it's still very easy to like drive a boat when the seas are smooth, right? But when the seas are rough, that's when you really need to know how to sail the ship, because it's a crisis that true leadership comes out. So, and by you showing that leadership and taking care of those during COVID, because I don't know if you did, but I saw a lot of the worst and best of leadership during COVID. So you knew that you had to take care of people and show that leadership during COVID. And what I'd love to know, like, here you are, finalists in our leadership awards, which are all about kind, compassionate, courageous, inclusive leadership. And I can see it in spades in you, is when you think about courage, right? And it shows that even, starting this business and trying to navigate COVID took a lot of courage. Was there anything you've learned when it comes to leadership? Where anything that you went, gee, that was such a huge learning for me over the past 9 years, or gee, that was a big stuff up. What did I learn from that? Courage is about stepping up and moving forward. Is there anything that you feel has been a fundamental time of courage for you that you've learned something from?
Oh, there are many examples of that. Like this courage is on a daily basis. I think so. We eat for breakfast. That is what we require to do. Business is tough. Being a leader is tough. I salute all the leaders, all the mentors who contribute on a daily basis to run organizations. It's not easy to be an employer. To create that courage, it's infectious, basically. People fall back on you. You have the responsibility of making sure. Nitin and I both feel like we have got responsibility of 150 families, give or take.
Wow.
Like sometimes it is 170 people in the organization, sometimes it's 150 people, or people come and leave and things like that. But as an organization, we just felt that we are responsible for 150 families rather than just people and their roles and what they have to do. So you need to be courageous. One small mistake in decision making can affect a lot of people, things like that. So, and leadership has taught us not when to talk, but when to stop talking and listen to our people. And that is a skill by itself, to be quiet and be listening and to make sure that you're making the right decision. So yeah, I think so that consistency which is required in leadership to show that I'm there for you. Make a mistake, no, not a problem. It's a beautiful thing. I saw Nitin and Brendan Faisal, who is our GM operations and is part of the Exegotech family from day one. They were dealing with crisis, and the way they just stopped and then allowed the team to express themselves, and then the solution to come through, and then take the full responsibility in front of the client or the vendor or the distributor and say, all right, we made a mistake. This is how we are going to do it. We're going to support you. And as if they were the wall between the client and the vendor and our teams, protecting them. It just happened last week as well. So it was just a beautiful thing to see that how leadership is not just about expressing in words, it's also about expressing in actions. And that's a constant what we try to do as a leader.
Yeah, we also, to this point about being a good listener, we also try to be very supportive and empathetic when we hear these thoughts as well, because there's a lot of different views, a lot of different business organized departments in our business as well. But one thing that we always do is we're very firm with our decisions as well. Like we've said, the decision that we make, the comments we make, the emails that we write, the communication we give, they can make or break, the actual accountability of what's about to happen after that. So it's very important for us to console. Vivek and I, we've been working in this office for 8 years, and there's always been this thing where we have our own office or not, but we don't. We actually sit in the same office, sit right next to each other, because it doesn't matter if we're talking about sales or we're talking about marketing or talking about operationally. Vivek and I have a standard thing, which is to listen to each other as well and understand what is going on in the business from every single facet, so we know and we can go and make the right decision to no matter who speaks to us on the day.
Wow, I love that. It sounds like you've really created a culture of psychological safety and being approachable as well. I'm interested in knowing as well from your perspective, how do you HR, when I think about HR, I used to have the HR hat. My career was in HR before I started Leadership HQ. It's huge responsibility, right? You're taking care of the people and the culture. How do you keep your well-being up? How do you take care of yourself and your well-being when you're the leader of people and culture? How do you take care of your well-being and self-care and compassion as well?
See, for me, constant learning, going for, numerous, courses like conflict management, change management, and all those things. And of course, the company has given me a chance to get those kind of courses as well. So I did last year my conflict management course. That gave me an insight of how to deal with, even my well-being as well before I will, start taking care of the team members. I also learn from internal resources as well, like my team members. They come and they give me a feedback, and then of course I implement. I've changed as per my comfort, and then I implement that. So that's what I do in this company. When I started working in this company, I started as an HR administrator, and then from there, 3 years back, now I'm the HR manager. I've learned a lot, constant guiding from the management, support from the employee. I think that gave me a very smooth journey in the company. And yeah, I've done my Toastmaster training last year. So the company is giving lots of training and development to all the employees. No, it's not me, everyone, whoever is, looking for that. And that gives you more understanding how you have to take care of yourself before anyone else. Yeah.
I love the fact you're really committed to your growth mindset, and also that you did start there as, HR administrator, and you've grown now over a couple of years to HR manager. That also demonstrates to me is that commitment and that growing within an organization. That's how you go from good to great, is by growing in an organization and being part of that growth as well. So it's wonderful to hear that leadership. And also the fact that, and I can also tell that you are not only I love the Daiso, I love that you doing the few minutes of yoga to start today, but the fact that I'm hearing that also well-being, taking care of each other, but also that I think listening is a superpower, that you're actually listening to everyone in your organization, and I can tell you really care. So I'd love to know what's next for you. Where are you heading? What does the next few years look like for you?
I think the continuous learning, taking feedback, applying best practice in HR, that's where I come from. But I'll give you an example how this learning starts. So last year, there was one case where employee was looking for some sort of counseling. And I was not sure how I can help that person and all those things. And I dig around and I got to know about EAP services. So that's how we are implementing new services every year. It's that's my agenda. Every year I should have some implementation in the company, which, smoothline the process of the employee. We did implement that last year. It added on our perks. So everyone in our company can get free counseling from EAP services. It's just 20 to 40 hours, they can get it. And it's very confidential. Nobody will know what they're talking to the counselor. They will just get a password from us and they can, directly talk to the counselor themselves. So every year that continuous learning is required, of course. And I'm actually working on a same pathway where this year I want to streamline Philippines, the payroll system. So that's my agenda. Okay, let's smoothline that process. And then of course, working on a performance management, application in Australia. So yeah, that's where I'm actually, heading to. And yeah, that's how I will, implement the best practice in the company.
That's amazing. I remember many, this was decades ago. It sounds like this is why I love working with startups or when you're new in HR, because it's kind of like your platform. You can make it yours, and this is what leadership's about. How can I help this organization be its best and set up these frameworks and systems and things. And I've worked with a few companies like that when I used to work in HR, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful to show that leadership, because it's so important to have you as that leader within the company to help it grow. So I know that we have to close off in a few minutes. And I could keep talking for so much longer with each and every one of you, but I would love to know, just to close off, and if anyone would love to contact you, please let us know how they can contact you. If you could say something to the future generations, or some people that are watching or listening today, what advice would you give them? What is, like, if you could go back to your younger self and say some piece of advice, what would you say?
I know, I'm happy to start, guys, but I know my one. Make mistakes, but learn from them. That's one thing I've seen constantly, one thing that I've always had, one thing that I've had since university days. I've always, and a lot of that has come from my dad. He would tell me, he goes, don't matter if you make a mistake. There's always going to be someone around there to support you, someone to lift you up, and someone to learn from. And to be honest, I've got an amazing team around us. I've got a fantastic business partner with us. We've got our fantastic wives and our family and everyone who's almost like our directors as well, talking to us daily and providing us that feedback. But we learn. The one thing that we do is we learn from mistakes. And that's been the one biggest learning that I've continued to keep seeing, and that we continue to keep seeing daily.
Love that.
And I would like to add to that is something about ourselves, where I can see Nitin and myself in it all the time, is that be disciplined. Our discipline is really, really critical for any person to have the growth mindset. And more importantly, be consistent with that discipline. So I think those are the things which we follow in our lives, and we can see the difference it has made in our lives and other people's life when they see us and they follow us and things like that. So discipline with consistency can get you the outcomes what you want in life.
I love that. I just this weekend finished listening to the Audible book, Diary of a CEO. And one of the laws, he has like 34 laws. And one of the laws he said is there's so many time management techniques and models, but if you're not disciplined and consistent, there's no time management model that will work. You have to be consistent and disciplined. And it's so true, because you only got limited time. He talks about the time roulette. He's like, how are you playing your chips? Like, you've only got a certain amount of chips. So make sure that you're cognizant and disciplined around how you spend your time. So that's great advice. And last but not least.
All right. So what I've learned is value for empathy and resilience. My commitment is to care for our people. When I say our people, is our employees. That's the most valuable assets I have, being an HR manager here. And then, of course, understanding them, and then, implement whatever possible in the company so that they will feel comfortable in the company. And of course, I can manage my resources well. That's it.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I definitely would say to my younger self, all those things, right? Learn from mistakes, be consistent, and also to show lots more empathy for yourself and others. Like, empathy and kindness is going to change the world. So I love the fact that that's such a focus of yours and part of your ethos. So thank you so much for today. Is there anything you'd love to close off with before we say goodbye? And thank you so much for being on our live and podcast day. Is there any final thoughts?
I feel from Exegotech, where Nitin, Kalpana, and I have been selected by the Leadership HQ. First of all, thank you so much for recognizing, because sometimes you are so busy in the daily rut of running a business, taking care of people, to step out and then being recognized it's a great feeling. So thank you so much to you, Sonia, to your team at Leadership HQ for recognizing us.
Oh, thank you so much for your great leadership. And it's great. It's legacy, right? I think that leadership's about legacy. How can we all make a difference and an impact? And you're showing you're part of that legacy. You're part of the change we want to see in terms of leadership around the globe. So thank you for being such a remarkable team, leaders, organization, and thank you for your leadership today. If there's anything else you'd like to close off with or how we can contact you, please let us know before I say goodbye. But is there anything else you'd love to say? And how do we get in contact with you if we want to know more about you?
From our website is the best way to contact us, or you can contact us through LinkedIn as well. We're all quite active on LinkedIn, but through our website, if there's any other information you'd like to learn more about Exego Tech.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And I will see you all in a few weeks. And it was wonderful to have you on Leadership with Sonia. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia.
Bye.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to the podcast Leadership with Sonia. Find out more about Sonia, her work, and more podcasts at soniamcdonald.com.au and reach out to her and her fabulous team to learn more.